Hi everybody, welcome to Graphing Linear Equalities Day 2. So today's going to be the same thing, except if you guys notice, these are not written in y equals mx plus b form yet, so we have to rearrange them first. Alright, so starting with, let's say number 2. Let's start with number 2. So if you want to get it in y equals mx plus b form, let's draw the wall. And you guys have done this before. If you want to get y alone, let me write at the top. We want y equals mx plus b. So if you want to get y alone, we need to start by subtracting the x over. You've done this before. And then you have 4y is less than. Now remember, I always used to switch the order. Negative 8 minus x, but I like to write it as negative x minus 8. And then if we really want to get y alone, to undo multiplying by 4, we just divide every single piece by 4. All right, so these cancel. And now let's just rewrite our answer nicer. So we have y is less than. I'm going to put a secret 1 here, and that's going to be now negative 1/4 x minus, and then 8 divided by 4, we might as well just call that 2. All right, so now we're in a good shape to graph the line. So just like the other day, the y-intercept is at negative 2, and the slope is negative 1/4. So that means down 1, right 4, or up 1, left 4. But your line should be going down. All right, dotted line or solid line? If there's no or equal to, we do not want a solid line. We want a dotted line. And now, where do we shade? Less than means below, so we shade down here. All right, let's try one more. Number 1. I don't know why I'm going backwards. So number 1, we're trying to get y alone. So let's draw the wall. And we always start by moving the x term first. So to move a positive x, we subtract it to the other side. And they cancel. And then now we have negative 2y is greater than or equal to 0 minus x. Isn't that just negative x? Like if it's 0, you don't have to write the 0. And then if you want to get rid of that negative 2, you're going to divide both sides by negative 2. So these cancel. But the rule still applies. If you multiply or divide by a negative, you're going to flip the symbol. So now we have y is less than or equal to. And then I'm going to put a secret 1 here. A negative divided by a negative, I'm going to just call a positive, and this is now a 1/2 x. Now, technically, it's plus 0, but you don't have to write that part. Okay, so let's graph it. The y-intercept is at 0, and then our slope is positive 1/2. So up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2. All right, do we want a solid line or a dotted line? Well, this one says less than or equal, and when there's an equal, we actually want a solid line. All right, where do we shade, above or below? Well, less than means below, so we're going to shade down below. All right, so these are just rearranged first and then graph. 3 and 4 are the same thing, but I'm going to move on to the next page. Oh, who remembers Vuxhoy? So what if it's just an x or a y? See how these are, it's not y equals mx plus b, it's just x or y. So that's when you use Vuxhoy. And remember, if it's x, it's a vertical line, and if it's y, it's a horizontal line. All right, so let's try a couple of these guys. So number 5, if y is -3. That's going to be a horizontal line through -3, and it's going to be solid. So a solid line through y equals -3. And then do we shade above or below? Well, greater than means above, so we're going to shade up here. All right, let's do one more y. Number 7, y and 3. So when it's y, it's horizontal, but notice there's no equal sign, so we actually want it to be a dotted line through 3. Okay, because it's not equal. And then it says less than, and you guys know that less than means below. So it's going to be down here. All those points are solutions. All right, let's try an x one. When it's x, it's vertical. So we're going to draw a vertical line through -1. Now, dotted or solid? It's not equal, so dotted line through -1. Now, you guys, the x's are a little bit different. Instead of up and down, it becomes left or right. Because you can't really shade above or below a vertical line. You can shade left of it or right of it. So in this case, when it says less, that means you shade in the direction of the arrow, so you're going to shade to the left. All right, let's try one more of those. Number 9. So it's x, so it's vertical. A vertical line through x equals 3. And because it's or equal to, it's going to be a solid line. All right, so there's x equals 3. And it says greater than. So do you think that means left or right? So greater than, the arrow's pointing to the right. So we're going to shade to the right. All right, thank you guys for watching. That was graphing day 2.